The Ministry of the Interior opened a space to work with the Community Action Group that include the archipelago to a channel where they can strengthen the exercise of community actions and its administrative management.
The Director for Democracy, Citizen Participation and Community Action, in a joint work with the Confederation of Community Action, opened a space for the community action organizations that work in the different municipalities of the country, where they will be provided with training in favor of each community administration.
Queremos invitarlos a que participen.
We want to invite them to participate in the communal channel, a space given so that they can be trained in topics such as elections, bylaws, single communal registry, communal legislation, books, and strategic development plans.
The official asked to explain how communal action can access the channel.
Este cronograma lo podrán encontrar en
This schedule can be found in the button Communal Aprende Oferta 2021 of the communal channel, where you will find a schedule with the dates on which the trainings will take place.
This space is worked by the Pedagogical Commission of the National Confederation and as natural trainers, being in charge of training and strengthening the Community Actions Organization. The Community Action Boards of the island have been working since yesterday, which was the first date of the community channels, and the next training dates will be on August 19 and 27 at 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. respectively.
And much attention to the following note. In the last few hours, the police department commander announced that the alleged perpetrators of the murder of a 12-year-old child in the Cliff area last Monday has been brought to justice.
According to information provided by the police department, the murderers of the minor received from the judge a measure of assurance, and all the steps are being taken with the central level of the impact for their transfer to a prison in the interior. The two suspects were identified as David Javier Sepúlveda and Shiven Nicolas Santana, both natives of the island of San Andres.
The two persons and alleged perpetrators who were captured by the National Police in an immediate reaction at this moment are already in custody, and thanks to this good exercise in the judicial order and with all the support of our prosecutors' offices, we had a timely decision by the judge regarding the legalization of the arrest.
The two young men, who are 19 and 22 years old, were captured in the Obrero neighborhood and have a judicial record. Both will now have to answer for the crime of homicide with the aggravating circumstance of being a minor.
And after the approval of the Law 2124, which authorizes the issuance of the Pro-National University stamp, the rector of the UNAL Caribbean branch announced the importance of this for the department.
Law 2124 was issued by the Congress of the Republic and indicates that the Departmental Assembly is authorized to order the issuance of the Pro-National University stamp for up to 300 billion pesos for a term of 30 years from the entry into force of the application of that law. In this way, and with this stamp, it will receive resources that will allow the quotes granted by the National University in the department through the PEAMA program to have a subsidy for maintenance, among other benefits.
Por muchos años, por más de 24 años de presencia en el territorio.
For many years, for more than 24 years of presence on the island, the university has redistributed its resources internally and has financed us. It has already given very significant contributions to this headquarters, but those resources are not enough to provide scholarships for the students. Therefore, I think that the benefit should be for the young high school graduates of the island who have been excluded from the opportunity to obtain higher education. Those who have the possibility to access higher education are less than 10%, and these resources can leverage the opportunity to train with efficiency.
According to special allocations of the Law 2124, no less than 30% of the stamp collection should be used to strengthen the PEAMA, and no less than 10% should be used for the scientific development of the university lines of research. Other consideration and allocation may be consulted in the mentioned Law 2124 of August 4th.
And in other news, the Departmental Health Secretariat gave a report on how the immunization process is progressing on the island.
The national vaccination plan continues to be developed on the island through the campaign organized by the local government in conjunction with the Departmental State Social Company, which seeks to achieve herd immunity for the population of the department.
We are inviting the people to continue receive this vaccination to help ourselves against this sickness, this pandemic. We have around 41,340 persons receive first dose, and up to now we have 31,000 that received their second dose. We We have a less second dose. We shot around 9,000 odd person, but still the amount that was projected is 44,000 odd people on the island from 18 years up. We are inviting the people to continue to complete their schedule. We are not doing nothing if we receive one dose and we don't receive the second dose to help to build up the defense in the body.
The local government invites the entire community of the department to complete their vaccination schedule in order to reduce the risk of infection and the serious consequences of COVID-19. In the same way, they call on immunized citizens to maintain biosecurity protocols.
We continue inviting the people to come out, to get well informed with people that know about the sickness, that know about the information really, and to give you good understanding about the developing of the sickness and the vaccine, and so that you can really help prevent yourself from the sickness, help create this immunity that we are trying to create in the island, and also to protect ourselves because we are receiving visitors from outside and we don't know which type of virus is coming now because it is changing. It is changing periodically, so we have to prevent because all the time won't be the same one.
Currently, the vaccination against COVID-19 is carried out in the facilities of the Departmental State Social Company and through the home-to-home strategy for those who have comorbidities and who cannot travel to the immunization point.
The IDEAM continues to monitor the current tropical storm Fred, informing the community that it will not directly affect the national territory.
The National Institute of Hydrology, Meteorology and Environmental Studies continue to update information on the transit of Tropical Storm Fred. In its special communique number 081, the tropical storm continues its transit through the Greater Antilles without posing any direct threat to the country. In the early hours of the day, the IDEAM also published in its tracking a figure showing the most likely trajectory of Tropical Storm Fred for the next few days, which could make landfall in the Dominican Republic, degrading to a tropical depression finally leaving the Caribbean Sea. IDEAM will continue to monitor atmospheric and marine conditions and recommend the entity of the National System of Disaster Risk Management and the National Environmental System therefore pay close attention to the information issued by the Institute. Teleislas News will also be attentive to the updates made by this entity.
The Red Cross, in cooperation with the Agrarian University of Colombia, is offering a course of guidelines and practices to respond to emergency situations for animal producers.
The Red Cross is leading a workshop on the protection of livestock in emergency situations. The training session is part of a socioeconomic recovery project, and it's aimed at the personnel who carry out livestock work and beneficiaries of the project.
What we are looking for is to generate capacities so that these people are prepared for the occurrence of any emergency or another hurricane, so that they can take the necessary measures, protect their livestock, their means of subsistence, the animals, and then we can face an emergency in a better way to have a quicker recovery.
The course has 9 phases, and today the initial evaluation session took place.
Tools so that participants have key questions to ask when there is an initial assessment, and what information to collect to determine, for example, if the animals are important here, that is, production animals. What was the impact of the emergency, and whether or not it is feasible to do a livelihoods-based response, such as for animals.
Today's session was attended by animal producers, representatives of entities and organizations.
People who are dedicated to raising and producing pigs. There are people who are dedicated to raising and managing bees, which is also a production system. There are also cattle breeders, that is to say, who are dedicated to raising cattle.
The workshop will continue until Friday.
The Municipal Secretariat of Social and Community Development is advancing the application of sisben 4 service for those citizens who have not yet updated their information in the new system.
The Secretariat of Social Development issued a list of people who need to request their survey for the sisben 4 since the emergency affiliation to the health system that happened automatically after the COVID pandemic could come to an end in the following months.
This emergency affiliation only lasts for the duration of the health emergency. What does that mean? That if now in November the health emergency decree is not renewed by another decree, these people would be automatically disenrolled and would lose their medical service.
The aim is to prevent emergency affiliates from being left out of the health system.
Solicitar su encuesta de sisben 4.
They must request their sisben 4 survey so that they can determine their sisben level, which is currently very different from sisben 3, and be able to determine what benefits or even if they can be affiliated through the subsidized regime.
The list is published on the Facebook page of the mayor's office, banks, schools, and supermarkets.
Durante esta emergencia, en el paso de sisben 3 a sisben...
During this emergency, in the transition from sisben 3 to sisben 4, many people were left without sisben. These people only have 4 months from the moment we affiliate them until the moment they have to renew or submit the sisben survey or their sisben classification. Therefore, these people also appear on the list.
Those interested should approach the planning office or the sisben official.
Today in our Community Chronicle, we bring you the life of Dina Merlin, a poet and adopted daughter of these islands who, even at 81 years old, continue to bring art and literature to the community.
There are women who are born to make history. One of them is Dina Merlin, who has dedicated her life to art and to inspire with her lyrics. She is of an Italian descent and born in Medellin. From a very young age, she was fixated with Nadaism, a current that interprets human existence. And it's precisely that existence that even at 81 years old, she continues to describe in her poetry. All this fitting from her window in the old people home in San Pedro Clavel of her island, an island that became her home more than 40 years ago.
Ay, fue muy linda esa llegada.
That arrival was very nice. It was beautiful. San Andres is magical. From the moment you see it up there, it's like swimming in color, but a nice color in which you could stay all your life, watching or creating beautiful things.
And so it was. When she arrived on the island with her husband, they settled in Tom Hooker and dedicated themselves to create and be part of different cultural and artistic spaces. She had one goal in life, to show that life is a box full of colors and that imagination is the most important thing of the human being. This was what she taught the children at the time.
Los niños.
The children had 7 days of work, but those were the 7 days of the weeks, and they were always busy doing something worthwhile, something beautiful.
Ya empezó.
And then the government started to put obstacles, and they didn't want to help in terms of culture or anything. And it was very sad after that, since we saw that everything was passing and there was nothing.
Verme aquí en el ancianato.
To see me here at the elderly home, where you have a lot of time. You get up, you take a bath, you get dressed. I always wear my hairstyle, which I learned to do, and I do it automatically. Then comes the breakfast and the contact with other people, for example, the nurses who are here assisting us.
Also, when asked about his favorite topics when writing, she always talked about the value of life.
Las enseñanzas primero.
The first teachings that I have taken from life were from some enjoyable experiences. Here you share with your colleagues. You share a lot of loneliness, which is terrible, but there is also that human warmth that you feel when you arrive, and that fills you up a little because there is someone who is interested in you.
Some people mistakenly think that Dina will soon retire from art, something that will never be true due to her way of seeing life. With thousands of experience, thousands of poems, and a book to her name, Dina proved that her imagination will be permanent and that her love for her culture will keep alive. An adopted daughter of the island, even at 81 years old, she writes wonders from her window and invites young people not to be afraid to pursue their dreams.